Mistake number 1. Poor product or market fit. If the business idea is simply poor, the project will be like whipping a dead horse. The reason that some investors, not all, nevertheless say that they often prefer the best possible team to the best plan is that great teams have the skills to make necessary pivots until they reach the proper product or market fit, where they are also capable of implementing the business. We believe that 3 of the typical mistakes concerning a poor product or market fit are 1. The project is simply too small to be worth the work and risk. 2. Missing dominance strategy. And 3. Confusing lifestyle and growth projects. Regarding the first, today, marketing people speak of the total addressable market, TAM, which is a theoretical customer base, and of the served available market, SAM, which are the potential customers, who might in principle purchase the product from a supplier. The third level is the target market, which is the number of clients that the company believes it could sell to. Finally, there is the sales budget, which is what the company expects to sell during a given period. Entrepreneurs often misjudge this by a lot, and we mean by a lot. How much? Studies from Startup Genome show the following. Startups that have not made their product yet overestimate their future sales by 100 times on average. We will just let this simmer. Yes, roughly 100 times. Typical reasons are that they overestimate the market potential and they underestimate the competition. Oops. Overestimation of their sales potential can also be because they do not combine sales potential with the demand for local dominance. They miss a dominance strategy. Many entrepreneurs make the mistake of saying something like, if we can just obtain 3% of the global market, we will have a revenue of $1 billion and a profit of $100 million. What they forget may be that companies with a low market share of 3%, for example, typically lose money. A better approach is to find a much smaller share of the market where you might be able to obtain 50% market share. You should therefore not point out a large market where you can get a small market share, but instead a sufficiently small segment of the market where you can get a large market share. Our third widespread problem with the product or market fit can be that you confuse a lifestyle project and a growth project. Either your project can scale or it cannot. But if it realistically does not have potential to scale, and if you nevertheless still treat it as a potential growth project, then you may run headfirst into a wall, since you will assume that you can get external investors on board, which you most likely can't. Therefore, remember that to scale, your business must be replicable, have decreasing marginal costs, and maybe even have viral potential. Does it have all of that, or any of it? Mistake number 2. Internal disputes. As we have heard already, statistics show that internal disputes very often are the main reason why startups fail. So how does this happen? Missing or poor shareholders' agreement is a typical part of the reason. Therefore, make an agreement early on, which takes into account surprises by allocating at least some of the shares dynamically. Also, agree on the expectations of the company's goal, both business-wise and financially. Another way to counteract internal disputes is to inform employees that they will not always be able to report to the founders if the company grows. For the same reason, as mentioned, you need to hold back with the pompous titles and be careful with hiring executives from big companies, highway builders, for leadership positions in your startup. At the same time, it is important that the leaders, including you, can grow with the task. When the company is tiny, the founders are involved in every single little detail. They use micromanagement. Later, they should become more tactically and strategically oriented. And when a company reaches several hundred employees, they should focus more on developing their leaders rather than the operations of their business, since their great leaders will manage operations for them. However, remember that it is not necessarily the one who was extremely good at developing the initial products who is great at strategic leadership, let alone developing leaders. Finally, They should also learn that while they had 60 screaming monkeys on their shoulders when there was just a bunch of founders, now there should be 0 monkeys.